You name it, he was much more present during the course of this debate, and I think that's exactly what Democrats needed and wanted to hear from Barack Obama tonight. The instant polls that are produced by some of the television networks after the debate give it to Barack Obama, not by an overwhelming margin. I wouldn't say that Mitt Romney had been a massive loser during the course of this debate, but both CBS network and CNN in their instant post-debate polls have Barack Obama by a few points ahead of Mitt Romney in this one.
All right, Kathy, let's take a look at some of the highlights, if you like, of this debate and look at some of the comments that were made. On foreign policy, Mitt Romney was very critical of the president's actions after the U.S. ambassador, as you know, and 3 of his staff were killed in Libya and on that attack on the embassy in Benghazi. Let's listen.
Many days that passed before we knew whether this was a spontaneous demonstration or actually whether it was a terrorist attack. And there was no demonstration involved. It was a terrorist attack. And it took a long time for that to be told to the American people. Whether there was some misleading or instead whether we just didn't know what happened, I think you have to ask yourself, why didn't we know 5 days later when the ambassador to the United Nations went on TV to say that this was a demonstration? How could we have not known? But I find more troubling than this, that on the day following the assassination of a United States ambassador, the first time that's happened since 1979, when we have 4 Americans killed there, when apparently we didn't know what happened, that the president, the day after that happened, flies to Las Vegas for a political fundraiser, then the next day to Colorado for another event, another political event. I think these actions taken by a president and a leader have symbolic significance, and perhaps even material significance, in that you'd hope that during that time we could call in the people who were actually eyewitnesses. We've read their accounts now about what happened. It was very clear this was not a demonstration. This was an attack by terrorists. And this calls into question the president's whole policy in the Middle East.
And here's how the president's responded.
Secretary of State, as far as what went on here?
No. Secretary Clinton has done an extraordinary job, but she works for me. I'm the president, and I'm always responsible. And that's why nobody's more interested in finding out exactly what happened than I did. The day after the attack, Governor, I stood in the Rose Garden and I told the American people and the world that we were going to find out exactly what happened, that this was an act of terror, and I also said that we're going to hunt down those who committed this crime. And then a few days later, I was there greeting the caskets coming into Andrews Air Force Base and grieving with the families. And the suggestion that anybody in my team, whether Secretary of State, our UN ambassador, anybody on my team would play politics or mislead when we've lost 4 of our own, Governor, is offensive. That's not what we do. That's not what I do as president. That's not what I do as commander-in-chief.
Kathy, let's bring you back in from Washington. That was supposed to be an issue on which the Republicans were strong. They were going to take it to the president. Did it work out that way?
The confusion over what happened in Benghazi is something that the Romney campaign thinks that they can make political capital out of it. I was speaking to a national security advisor to President Romney just yesterday. He said that they think this is worth pursuing because it makes Mitt Romney look like a strong leader and it makes Barack Obama look like somebody who doesn't really know what's going on in the ground. Now, I think during the course of this debate, they had prepared their attack on Libya. They went in and then Mitt Romney fluffed it. There was a whole back and forth that we didn't see just there over whether Barack Obama had said this was an act of terror and when he had said that, and Mitt Romney frankly got his facts wrong, which kind of undermined his whole presentation of himself as being a strong leader. And I think also Barack Obama performed very well. That answer that you saw there with him having the stature of the presidency, that's not what we do, you know, as commander-in-chief. That's not what we do as president. It's a reminder to the voters out there, to the viewers out there, that he He is those things. He's been those things for the last 4 years. He's pretty much kept America strong and safe on national security issues, and I think he handled the issue very well. He drew in some emotion there, talking about the families, greeting the caskets, grieving with the families of those who had been killed in Libya, and drew a stark contrast really to the way he handled that bit of the debate and the way Mitt Romney handled it.